Right, I have it. Right, yeah.
Oh, you can come a little closer.
I don't have this, you know. Right.
Great. I guess, can you just speak on 920 Boys and I guess what this movement's all about?
Yeah, so 920 Boys started a few years back. Basically trying to get more information out there about the sport in general, as far as the off-road side of things was concerned. Started making videos and putting those out there, and started going. You know, I've always been a motorcycle rider since I was 16, but I kind of went into the dirt scene, and now I'm kind of going out into the road scene. I got my own road bike and meeting all the new people, networking. We have shop920boys.com. We sponsor riders and we make them custom merch and donate 75% of the proceeds back to the riders for their race expenses. But yeah, we're just growing the community, trying to come up with new ways to get the kids involved. We're doing some events this summer with some of our sponsors. Just trying to grow the community, meet new people, and yeah, just doing our thing out here.
And then, how did this idea come into fruition for you?
So I came up with the idea because I had been riding on the street my whole life, but wanted to get into the dirt bike scene, and I felt like I couldn't find very much information, so started finding the places and the tracks and people to go ride with, and then just started making videos about that, putting it on YouTube, trying to get information out there. We started a YouTube page specifically, or I'm sorry, a Facebook page specifically for putting out the open dates and the times of the dirt bike tracks in our area for people that might feel the same way or just are looking for extra information that is hard to find on Google. So just started making informational videos about the dirt bike tracks in our area.
And then obviously we got people riding behind you on the ice and stuff like that. I'm from Massachusetts, so people would look at that. If you walked on a frozen lake, people would look at you crazy, let alone pop a wheelie on one. So can you speak on like what it is to ride on ice and obviously to ride with your boys too?
Yes. So it's extremely hard to go for sometimes 6 months in these cold months up here in Wisconsin. So our motto is 2 wheels 365, and we have the opportunity to ride on the ice up here. You can throw studs in your tires, and there's a few other modifications you can do, but otherwise you can get out here on the ice, proper conditions. It's hard to say because safe ice isn't always, it's really not a thing. It's, you know, you have to be careful, stay in tune with the ice conditions, but we can get out here and enjoy the sun, even though it is 20 degrees.
And then in terms of the adrenaline, what does that do for you as well, like from an emotional standpoint? And how does it feel to see, you know, something that you started to see, obviously all these people here, as well as so many other people come in and join that movement and enjoy riding in the winter?
Yeah, the support's been overwhelming. As far as what riding does for us, I feel like we all have our separate lives, but at the end of the day, for me and my friends, it seems like 2 wheels brings us together. We all share a deep passion for the sport and the community. For myself, getting on my bike after work is the best stress relief I've found, and it's what I look forward to. I like being on the open road, you know, sometimes listening to some tunes, otherwise just soaking in Mother Nature and getting my vitamin D.
And then I guess in terms of riding and safety and precautions and stuff like that, I guess, what would you say to all the people that are like, that's dangerous, like what are you doing? What would you say to them?
Yes, you know, I guess we all do dangerous things in our day-to-day lives. This could be considered a little bit more precarious than most, but you know, we try to take as many precautions as we can. We wear as much safety gear as we can. We check ice conditions. But for us, it's worth it, you know. It's just what works for me personally. You know, if I get overwhelmed in life, it literally just get on my bike, and it seems like I'm able to figure out my problems and just be at peace, really.
And what is it like to, I guess, embrace that Wisconsin lifestyle with the 920 Boys, and I guess, you know, to have the logos with the state on it, and then, you know, to now see everything coming into fruition in terms of sponsorships. Can you speak on that?
Yes. It's unbelievably overwhelming. I was just coming to the community trying to bring value as far as information and stuff, and it's kind of turned into a big community of support, because I feel like what we do is very beneficial to the community, and we have a lot of people backing us now. The guys here at the Paynes Point Fishing Club have been nice enough to open up this little boat landing for us to do this morning. I have a lot of companies in town and in the moto community that have supported me. Scholze Exteriors, Metro Motor Sports in Neenah. We got CK Designs, does all of our graphics with Wisconsin in it. It feels awesome to represent Wisconsin. I've grown up and raised in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and you know, we do have a lot of things here in Wisconsin that I would think are underrated, and this is a big part of it. You know, the sports in the winter doesn't always shut down for the cold months. You know, we want to get out here and we do some ice fishing, we do some spearing, and we do some bike riding in the winter when we can.
And then can you just take me down the process? What is it like to put the studs on the tires and all of that stuff?
For sure. So the ice setup is a little bit different because there's different kinds of studs. It kind of depends on what you're looking to do. For the guys that we end up hanging out with, we're doing a lot of our ice racing, and they have the AMA regulated studs. So you have to have a certain kind of studs. Each stud actually is orientated a certain way depending on the lug of the tire, the best traction. And you also have ice fenders, so that when you get in those turns and you're sideways and you're hooking up, those tires can get close to the people riding next to you. So they have extra fenders to cover those tires that could be pretty detrimental to your legs if your buddy bumped into you. They do cover the radiators, so your bike doesn't overcompensate for the fuel and you can burn out some of the bearings in your engines. Yeah, and just kind of wearing some warm layers, trying to, you know, stay warm. They have gauntlets, which is a nice warm protective extra outside glove layer for you put on your handlebars. I like those to keep your hands warm.
And then how many members do you have within 9204?
It's hard to say how many actual members in the 920 there are. It's a large community of friends that kind of pop out when we can. You know, we have busy work schedules and some of us have families, but it's a couple hundred solid right now. You know, we have our followings on social media that are organically growing as we go, and then you know, the group of friends that like to come out and hang out. You know, I can't ever appreciate and thank them enough, but yeah, it's definitely a growing community, and everybody is always out to help support everybody else.
And then, okay, which bike is yours, or is one of yours?
Yes, my bike is actually this one.
Okay.
Me and Jake actually have the same bikes. So it's 2022 Honda CRF 450 RL. So it's actually in the summertime, we'll switch our setups. So this is actually a dirt bike tire with studs in it, and when, you know, if you get a street legal dual purpose bike with a license plate on it, you can throw flat supermoto tires on it and really have fun on strictly the concrete, basically.
Okay, so that's street legal?
This is street legal, yes. Yep, I can ride it 365, you know what I'm saying? That's the deal. 2 wheels, 365. You gotta get the proper setups and you're good to go.
And I guess, can you speak on the learning process for you? Because you said you've always been an enthusiast when it comes to biking and obviously being on 2 wheels for 365 days. So can you speak on, I guess, the learning process for you? And, you know, I guess sometimes, you know, in order to teach somebody something, you kind of learn from that as well. So I guess, can you speak on that experience?
Yes, absolutely. It's overwhelming, because when I thought I knew what I liked as far as motorcycles, I thought I liked riding on the street, and then I got into the dirt biking, and then there's flat track, and then there's ice racing, and each one of those facets of the two-wheeled world has its complete, you know, just you dive into it and there's so much to learn. Everything is you know, very particular to whatever you're riding, and the knowledge I get and the tips I've gotten, I just feel like I'm a sponge, and it's very easy for me to soak it in because I fully understand it, and I'm always interested on how things work and why, like, how can you ride on ice? How can you get that low in the turn? Well, a lot of it has to do with, you know, which way the studs go and how you angle the screws, and it's been awesome to learn all the ins and outs of each one of those types of, you know, riding 2 wheels 365.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I'm going to interview somebody some of your other friends and stuff like that to speak as to what their experience has been, and I'm obviously gonna take some B-roll of the studs on the tires, show the setups, show the van, obviously with the 920 logo on it as well, and then we're gonna get you guys having fun in the element. You know, that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you taking the time here.
Of course, thanks for
No
having
problem. Can you just speak on the experience of coming out here and riding with the boys?
Yeah, so we come out here. I've been coming out here for, I don't know, probably 10 years now, riding the ice with numerous four-wheelers, dirt bikes, even the trucks.
What is it like to do it with a group of people that kind of have that same interest as you, and obviously with the age of social media, and obviously with the creation of 920 Boys, to see everybody with similar interests come together and, you know, enjoy something that's just bigger than them?
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun coming out here. You know, it is nice having more friends with the same energy. It keeps you motivated to keep pushing. I found Matt about 4 months ago, and we instantly became really good buddies. We're both moto oriented, and we want to push the 920 brand really hard. We want to get the young kids into motorcycle, because it is like a dying motorsport. You know, people are getting priced out of it, but we just got to keep the drive to go. And you know, you can ride year round, which is really nice. Not a lot of people know that, but you know, you just gotta get everybody educated and come out here and have a fun time.
And then in terms of fun, what does it for you? You know, you said like, in terms of riding year round, sorry, it's really loud. In terms of riding year round and stuff like that, you started 10 years ago, so it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say you're a pioneer, but you're a little ahead of the game in comparison to everyone else. So when did you realize that you could ride year round?
Well, I just loved the sport, and when I was little, I just continued riding even dirt bikes in the snow, and you kind of get the hang of it. But as I got older, you know, people before me figured out you could throw studs in tires and, you know, rip the ice pretty good, and I just come out here. This is actually the first year I personally did it myself on this bike, and prior to that I was just running ATVs for a long time. But I love coming out here, riding wheelies, trying to drift, but this bike isn't set up for drifting quite yet. My cousin, who's out burning, his setup is really nice for studs.
I guess in terms of the culture, right? What would somebody not know just by looking at that sign on that's posted on your bike?
So
What would somebody not know by just looking at that logo? You know, where it's just like what you guys are all about, the friendship, just coming out and just like, I guess, bringing the best out of each other, you know, because I'm assuming everybody has different setups, you know. You guys can all share that wisdom as well, because you guys are all going through the same process. And, you know, I'm sure if somebody has a drift setup, you have more something, you know, for those turns that you want to lean in and stuff. So can you speak on that?
Yeah, so my pattern is a little bit different. My rear tire, it hooks up really nice, so it allows me to do a lot of straight wheelies. My cousin's setup his studs are a little bit different. That allows him to actually drift the bike sideways. And I checked that out yesterday. It's not too good for us over there, but that oval track is perfect for the drift setup. If I wanted to change this, I'd have to like reorient how my studs are laid out. It's all down to even the line on the stud, how it's turned for the rear tire to hook up very well.
And then in terms of obviously the fact that this is street legal is crazy to me. Can you speak on that? How the heck were you able to go to we call it the DMV where I'm from. It's what is the Registry of Motor Vehicles here?
Yep. Well, it's still the DMV here. Yep. As long as the bike comes from the dealership with a title, it is licensable. There's other states where you can get an off-road vehicle and go through a process of adding a brake light, a headlight, and blinkers, and you can go and get a title through a different state for an off-road dirt bike after you do what you need to get it registered this way. But with this bike specifically, it came from the factory like this. It came from Honda. I bought it over at Ken's Motorsports in Appomattox, and it's been really fun for me. And when it allows the street legal form, and it has a license plate on it, so I'm able to drive it on the road. I have DOT approved tires. So you just have to change out the tires on the rim, and then she's street legal.
And then can you show? We can do a close up of. Can you just show me the studs and stuff like that? I'll do some people later.
So these studs specifically, it took me about 2.5 hours at home in my garage. I just screwed them in. It just takes a standard 1/4-inch screw. It's a screw head. Put the 1/4-inch drive into a impact and just screw them into the tire. There's different ways to, like I said, there's grooves in the studs, and there's a special way to turn those and get perfect alignment for ice riding. Yeah, so the process of putting in studs in these tires, it took me about 2.5 hours to screw all these in. If you can look, I have kind of a V pattern going on this tire. So when this tire rolls around, it's hitting with this triangle shape on the ice, and that digs in really tight. So that allows me to pop my wheelies. My cousin on the bike out here, his V is actually the other way, so he's hitting his with like a backwards V or a triangle, you know, the opposite of what I have, and his allows his to skid out more.
And that would be considered what, a drift bike, right?
That would be an ice bike or a drifting bike, ovular track racing.
All right, well, I think we have enough.
News, and it's cold as shit, and my feet are kind of numb, but we'll be back to you after this short break.